And next up, the Blueseed panel. Who's going first?
Yes, I think I'm going.
All right. Pleased to welcome Dario, who is our legal researcher at the Seasteading Institute and is now president of Blueseed.
Let me just ask this.
It's coming.
Oh, it's coming. Okay. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'm happy to be here, not only because I can see so many friendly faces in the audience, but also because this is a very appropriate place for us to properly introduce Blueseed and what we're trying to accomplish. So I'll address some of the concerns Mike expressed as well. Thank you for that. You brought many ideas that, you mentioned many ideas that we will talk about. So how could we describe a Blueseed? In how many different ways we could do it? First, we could say that Blueseed is a business. Like any other business, it's designed to address a certain need that exists in the marketplace. We believe that this need is huge. The only potential difference is that Blueseed is definitely one of the more creative or novel solutions that exist. But even there, it's not fundamentally that different from numerous startups that exist here in Silicon Valley, which are also very creative and at the cutting edge of progress, in a sense. Another way of describing Blueseed would be to say that Blueseed is one of the first large-scale, for-profit seasteading ventures. And this is very appropriate for this location and an occasion. This is the Seasteading Conference. And as such, if you think about Blueseed in that way, in that context, one could also say that Blueseed is a basically adjacent possible synthesis of goals and aspirations of the seasteaders around the world. Another way of saying what Blueseed is, it's one of the incremental steps, one of the first large-scale attempts to create a bridge between a current reality and our goals that we share here. And as Patrick mentioned, creating a startup sector for government so people can experience new and better ways of living and governing. So in that sense, I think it's important to mention both of these components, business, just a standalone business, and the seasteading related aspirations, because of some of the fantastic ideas that Mike mentioned. I mean, in order for seasteading to be successful, it has to be useful. There has to be a business model there. In order for seasteading to be successful, it has to be done in the right way, right place, and we believe that Blueseed, if successfully address all of these things that Mike mentioned, for example. So let's go through Blueseed. Let's introduce Blueseed, and I'll talk about some of the points.
Dario?
Yes.
The keyboard, the lower right-hand arrow pointing to the right, that will
Okay.
control it.
Okay. So as we say, what comes next? Business without borders. This is fundamentally what we're trying to do at Blueseed. One of the main reasons for our existence. So we would like to see the world which is borderless, at least for businesses. So if you're talking about businesses, what's the best place on this planet to start a business? What's the most entrepreneurial, most creative place? I think all of us will agree that Silicon Valley is the best place. Numerous reasons for it, but if one wanted to summarize it, it's probably a unique combination of ideas, capital, and culture. Ideas can be basically, you can talk about patents or just about creative business individuals with creative business plans. And in both of those segments, I think Silicon Valley is the leader, global leader. Money, I mean, that's obviously important. It's undeniable that Silicon Valley is the most important place for venture capital funding. My favorite actually is not money, it's not number of patents, it's the culture. For me, the reason why money is here and why all these intelligent engineers are here is because of the culture. And culture has several different components. Risk-taking is one of the most important one. This is, for example, lacking in other developed countries, such as Germany, Netherlands, etc. It's okay to fail. That's closely connected to risk-taking. Actually, it's almost encouraged in a sense. Startup entrepreneurs here, it's okay to fail. It's okay to have that on your resume. You tried something, at least. Engineering tradition, university. So you have this nexus and diversity, one of the most important ones. So you have this nexus of fantastic elements that any ambitious entrepreneur on this planet would like to take advantage of. So you would want to come here. But the problem is, you can't. If you're an entrepreneur, there is no legitimate visa channel that would enable one to come to the United States and work here on a startup. There are simply no visas for entrepreneurs. And this is obviously a legislative problem that could be solved by legislative means. And there's an effort in Congress. It's called the Startup Visa Act. It's been languishing there because of the fact that immigration is a hot button issue. This is one concrete example of the problem. We know him. His name is Amit. He raised some money. Israeli entrepreneur, Stanford graduate. He raised some money, hired 9 individuals, and had to leave the United States because of the visa-related issues. And he's just one of many stories of this nature, this kind. And this is a travesty. This is simply something that should not be the case. So end result is that Silicon Valley, this awesome, the best place in the world, is in a way gated, unnecessarily so. And Blueseed itself, as you know, could be seen as a Silicon Valley, child of Silicon Valley. And as such, we are ambitious, we are creative, we believe we can solve even seemingly insurmountable obstacles. And in that way, we're thinking outside the box, or in this case, to the left of the box. And our solution is to anchor a ship 12 miles away in international waters, outside U.S. jurisdiction, as far as some of the visa-related issues are concerned. The location is west-southwest from Half Moon Bay, basically. We will use a ship, probably use cruise ship that we will retrofit. On that ship, we will house approximately 1,000 entrepreneurs in a high-tech startup community. These entrepreneurs will be able to work, live, and play on our ship. They would also, they should be able to visit Silicon Valley as well via tourist or business visa. So the key ingredient here is that they would be allowed to legally work in a close physical proximity to Silicon Valley. The individuals from Silicon Valley would be able to visit them on their ship as well. The flag, probably Bahamas or a country like that. Our venture has been called Googleplex of the Sea, and this is something that we are trying to create. We are inspired by places and environments like a Googleplex. Cabins, some of the logistical and infrastructure details. Cabins for different budgets. We will have office space, different kinds of office space. Recreational facilities. Food, medical security, obviously very important. Yesterday we talked, we had a chance to hear speeches about legal issues, some of the engineering challenges, security and safety. I think it's safe to say that Blueseed, by definition, would have to successfully address all of those, including some interesting ones, such as high-speed internet access, which is a hugely important issue for all seasteaders. This is going to be an incremental solution because we will be, relatively speaking, close to coastline, but hugely important. Transportation, we'll have different modes of transportation, ferries, maybe speedboats, helicopters for emergencies, and high-end clientele. So we're talking about Silicon Valley. One of the most important contributions of ours will be to create these services, startup incubator services. Namely, connect these entrepreneurs to Silicon Valley startup events, investors, capital, networking activities. In a nutshell, the magic of Silicon Valley. Legal help is of paramount importance. To have a properly streamlined legal, in a sense, guidelines, some of which could be used by other seasteaders to create interesting and very relevant to them legal infrastructure and events. So, what are the benefits, specific benefits for these entrepreneurs? Blueseed itself, in order to come to ship, you don't have to have a visa or immigration, no visa or immigration restrictions. So it's very close to this ultimate goal of ours to create a new and better society. But again, it's a incremental step in that direction. Again, same thing about regulatory costs. In essence, we will do whatever we can by using existing legal infrastructure to create some of these benefits. Simplified business, I mean, that's the whole goal, to create a better ways of governing. Movement of people would be much freer than it is, generally speaking. And some of the other benefits, no stressful commuting or traffic. And this, I would say, one of the most important components for this particular business is the atmosphere on board for these entrepreneurs. Could be called perpetual hackathon atmosphere. And the end result should be to be in the middle of the cutting edge of innovation. Costs. We're talking about a business plan. So one of the primary questions is whether entrepreneurs will pay for this, whether Blueseed will be able to make money on this. So we'll have two primary sources of revenues. First one is rent. It will range from $1,200 per person per month to up to $3,000 or so with better rooms. Cost includes office space. In a sense, we're trying to be cost competitive with what can be found here in Silicon Valley. Second source of revenue, in our opinion, even more interesting, is the fact that Blueseed will take equity positions in these startups, which fundamentally means that our interests or incentives are properly aligned with the interests and incentives of our customers. What laws apply? I mean, this is fascinating to me. I have a legal background. Laws of the flag state. To be decided exactly which one. We have some top candidates. International commercial arbitration. Again, existing legal infrastructure, highly successful, utilized by businesses around the world already. It's better than using local jurisdictions. And taxes will be a mix, interesting mix. Some of the startups will decide to incorporate in Delaware, so some of them will be subject to US tax frameworks. Patents, as usual, very well-developed system. So this is one of the most interesting components. Max will talk more about this, but these are some of the numbers. Actually, number is considerably higher right now. We had a flurry of activity in last week or last couple of days, so we have more than 240 startups from 52 countries and more than 850 entrepreneurs. But one of the most interesting facts here is that the United States is well represented here. 25% of all applicants come from the United States, which is a bit of a surprise, was to me at least initially, because they do not have visa problems, obviously. So maybe I could use this opportunity to address 2 points you made, Mike, about Facebook example. And why was Facebook successful? 2 reasons. Started at Harvard, had that reputational advantage, and execution was pretty good. They differentiate themselves from MySpace, etc. We believe that Blueseed satisfies some of those criteria as well. If you say what's the most prestigious place for business on this planet, Silicon Valley would definitely be something akin to Harvard in the academia. And demand, obviously. Facebook tapped into this need of ours to communicate with others. Well, demand for us is huge. As can be seen here, numerous individuals would like to come here, but they can't. So we are addressing the existing demand. In a sense, we do not have to create a market per se, unlike some of the numerous startups here that have to fight for. So I mentioned the fact that American startups want to come here. So we asked them why that is the case. And this is what they said. And this is actually top reason for all of them, including foreigners, living and working in an awesome startup and technology-oriented space. So Blueseed, in a sense, is being transformed not just from a, in a sense, kind of a visa-related solution to visa-related obstacles to a new space for businesses. So our goal now is to create one of the best locations anywhere in the world for high-tech entrepreneurs. This is the summary of this. It's the innovators' gateway into Silicon Valley. Early stage startups. This is another important component. And the ultimate goal for them is to outgrow our facilities and move to Silicon Valley proper if they want to. I think it would be in their interest because this is the best place to do that. This is probably the only place where scaling truly happens in a global expansion. If they want to globally expand, they should have a presence in Silicon Valley. And outgrow our facilities, I mean, if they scale, if they get funded, they get partnerships, then we'll have some physical constraints that they will, in a sense, they will have to move out. Estimated launch, end of next year. I think this is a bit optimistic, maybe beginning of 2014. Near future, we do have long-term plans, of course, which are very much connected to the aspirations of the seasteading movement. We could replicate this model in different places, Southern California, East Coast, and a long-term vision is to have Blueseed vessels around the world, solving different business challenges, not just startup-related ones. These are some of the images that we like, concept vessels, granted, that could be used in some of the locations. First, probably we'll use something that would look like this, US cruise ship. And I would like to conclude with a quote by an individual that I would say most of us here respect. And the people who are crazy enough to think they can change the world are the ones who do. Obviously, Steve Jobs, and this is also something Mike mentioned. What is the pure form of philosophy? It's actually connected, very much connected with doing stuff, trying at least, instead of being forever in academia. Mike felt this need to leave one of the best institutions in the world in order to be able to actually do something, and Blueseed is definitely of that nature. We are doers, trying to change the world for the better. Thank you very much, and now I would like to introduce my friend and colleague, Max Marty, that will talk about some of the most interesting aspects of our business plan and about the strategic approach that we are utilizing. Thank you very much.